Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to another episode of Ball Chat live on Facebook. Benton in the building again, along with my brother, engineer Junior. How are you doing?
Why you say engineer like it's a joke?
Yeah, man, engineer. And for all you engineers out there, we're looking at an intern, a volunteer, because we need an engineer badly. Come on, how are you doing?
I'm good enough. I'm here chilling.
Come on, are you an engineer?
Unfortunately, no.
And football lovers want to apologize for the late start. You know, we were hoping to start at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do another live stream on Facebook and also do it on YouTube. But I look at thing reaches, so we are here. Small thing reaches.
Yeah.
But as usual, we're going to review the weeks happening in football, and for a preseason football, it's been a dramatic week. We're going to focus on Manchester City at the start of the show, talk about what happened with Manchester City in the offseason as they get ready for the Community Shield. And we're going to talk about transfer news. Gareth Bale, as usual, always a drama with Gareth Bale. But kicking it off, it's all about Manchester City at the top of the show. Come on. You're not a Manchester City fan, but you like good football. And I know you have a soft spot in your heart for Pep Guardiola. So, based on what Manchester City have done in the off-season, your thoughts on Manchester City so far?
I think they still need new pieces. I'm not sure what's going on with the Zidane saga. Is he in? Is he out? I mean, what's going on with him? He's a good player. But for some reason he's not fitting into Man City's plan. But they haven't done much on the transfer market. So I think I guess Pep is okay with the crew that he has. Hopefully Sergio Aguero has another good season in him. Raheem can step up to the plate. But apart from that, Man City probably don't need to get anybody else, according to Pep.
So Junior, Cameron brought up the Leroy Sané issue, so let's just touch that one off the bat right there. Leroy Sané is getting a lot of offers. He's attracting a lot of big teams. Bayern Munich is reportedly negotiating with Leroy Sané as we speak to try to entice him to Munich. What do you think? What do you make of this? I mean,
I don't know if it's because of all the international football that has played over the summer, if that has slowed up the transfer market. I don't know what it is, but for some reason this year transfer market just seems to be slow. Okay. And to segue to Leroy Sané, which is your question, I think Pep hasn't gotten that knock me off my shoes offer as yet. Okay. And he probably hasn't even seen an adequate replacement as yet. Like he needs a replacement, but it just feels like everything is just moving at a snail's pace, this transfer window. I don't know what it is.
And speaking from a Manchester United fan, so maybe it's snail's pace in the Empire Land, but in other teams, it's not. So, to Manchester City regarding Leroy Sané, come on, they offered him a contract extension. His dad, who is his agent, we talked earlier on Ball Chat a few months ago about family as agents. His dad and his mom, who were heavily invested and heavily involved in the decision-making process, pretty much delay him signing that extension. Leroy Sané has pretty much said that he wants to stay in Man City, so he's having fun. Do you see him leaving Man City for Munich or any other club? Come on.
I do. I mean, everybody wants to play. We'll talk about this with Gareth Bale, and people are saying that Gareth Bale is okay with sitting on the sidelines. And Junior brought up a valid point. He said people train so hard and invest in being a good footballer that they don't want to sit on the sidelines. Sané is a relatively young player. He has a whole bunch of football ahead of him. He wants to be in the Germany squad for World Cup and every other tournament that's coming up for Germany. So why would he want to be at a club where he's used sparingly? I mean, will Sané play half of the Premier League game? Will he be a sub? I mean, we've seen where he hasn't played in a lot of games, out of competitions. So I'm not sure that he should stay. If I was his agent, I would tell him to leave. If the right offer comes along, I would definitely leave. I see him leaving, actually, before the transfer window closes.
But then my question is this Sane's decision solely, or is it that him and the club need to come to an agreement, or is it the club's decision? Because I think that's where the lines seem to be blurred when it comes on to these transfer sagas. Because all of these players, we get the impression like Sane right now is holding all the cards and don't want to leave, right? Just like how Bale seems to hold all the cards and don't want to leave. But then we hear that offers are coming in for Sane, and City is not pulling the trigger on these offers. So who is it that decides whether should I go or should I stay, or is it a mutual agreement? I'm curious to know. I'm really, really curious because it just feels weird. It feels like Sane knows he's unappreciated, but it feels like he wants to spite City. That could be one perspective.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Benson. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Come on.
I mean, I do think it's a mutual agreement. A player just can't get up, who's under contract and just say that I want to leave, right? I am telling you that I feel that Manchester City is actually waiting on the right offer. If Bayern Munich comes in with top-notch money, Pep is not going to say no, because he can use that money and get a player that fits into his system.
Right.
I don't think Sane fits into Pep's system. So you're right, it's not Sane's decision solely. It's a combination of moving parts. They want the money from the business aspect, and Sane wants to move from a playing aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I think he fits in the system. I mean, he's ideally set up for this winger sort of role. He can play on the left or right side of that wing, or he also can go down the middle. The main issue, I think, with Pep and Leroy Sane, he has really spoken highly of him in the press. It's the commitment to consistently work, and Leroy Sane sometimes does seem to be reluctant to want to track back and help the collective effort defensively. But I think he fits in their system. They gave him a contract extension. It's just that Leroy Sane is probably thinking, I could play more football somewhere else at the current level that I am. But we'll see. We'll see what will happen with Leroy Sane. I mean, I think he's a player that is 23, 24 years old. So he have a lot of years of potentially good football left in him. And
that might be the reason why he got the contract extension.
Yeah.
Because now you can get a bigger payday for him instead of him leaving for free. Yeah. So it might not be for footballing reasons, it might be for business reasons.
And his contract runs until 2021, right. So he still have a few more years. So I do envision, I don't know, you may alluded to him leaving, but I do envision he will at least be at Manchester City for this year. What happens after that, we don't know. They're trying to wrap him up for a few more years after that. But I think he wants to play more football in the City unit.
Yeah.
Manchester City signed Rodri. That's a big summer signing, £62 million. Do you envision Rodri sliding into that Fernandinho role and potentially giving Fernandinho some off days and more to rest those legs? Or is going to be Fernandinho carrying that weight throughout the season, or mostly for the season? Come on, what do you expect from Rodri, their big summer signing?
He's going to be behind. It's going to be a number 2. I mean, he will have to go in and play exceptionally well the first opportunity that he gets to unseat the number 1 for that spot. So, he's just reinforcement.
Okay. And the number 1 for that spot is getting all bigs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 34 years old?
I'm playing a lot of football.
I'm playing a lot of football.
Coming off a summer.
And coming off a summer.
Yeah, I mean, he has to play. Rodri has to play.
Rodri has to play.
And if City wants to be successful, he has to play.
He has to play.
He has to play. There's no ifs and ands about it.
And the loss of Vincent Kompany. Is the loss of Vincent Kompany? He's now coach of Anderlecht. Is this gonna be the biggest loss of Man City, both as a leader and what he does in terms of getting those players in line on the field to stick to the task at hand and trying to win championship as he did at the tail end of the season last year? How big do you think that will be, Junior?
Now we're going into forecasting, and if the potential leader is on the Man City squad,
yeah,
that leader had plenty of opportunities last year to step up and lead because Kompany wasn't playing all that last year. So Can they do it full time? I don't know. Who is that leader? I don't know. If odds-on favorite for me would have been Fernandinho, but he's also long in the tooth. So who is that next player that's going to step up?
Yeah.
That's the question. Who do you think is the next player?
Because their defense is quite suspect with
Right.
Laporte and John Stones, who's a potty shop defenders, those. Come on, what do you think about the loss of Vincent Kompany and its potential impact on Manchester City and their running to try to repeat as EPL champions?
In terms of having the voice on the pitch, it's a big loss. In terms of having the player on the pitch, it's so give and take. Yeah, he breaks up some plays, he does some great things, but he wasn't consistent or a 90-minute player. So they, in terms of playing, okay, fine. But they do have Kyle Walker, and I think Kyle Walker can be a leader.
How foolish is that?
So look, listen. I am not a fan of Kyle Walker. I talk about it all the time, but for some reason, Pep have faith in this man. Don't be surprised if he gets a captain armband.
No, that would be a shocker. That would be a shocker. That would be an absolute. But yeah, so you brought up Kyle Walker, and on the left side, Mendy, who's been injured again, is also a vulnerability on the left side of that defense. So therein lies Vincent Kompany leadership and pulling people in line and covering for people is going to be huge.
And Delph, where's Delph?
And Fabian Delph signed with Everton.
So
right?
that was him. That was his security blanket.
Yes.
All of last year we were saying, how is Delph playing left back? Why is Delph playing left back? That was his security blanket. Where is his security blanket now?
Manchester City have some huge holes. But let's focus on some positive quickly as we wrap up. Kevin De Bruyne, come on, he's had a very good preseason. They said he looks like a man possessed. If he can play injury-free era sort of football, what sort of impact do you expect him? Do you expect him to take the next leap for Man City?
You said the right thing. If he can stay injury-free, which we've seen that he can't stay injury-free, but when he plays, he's a man possessed anyway. So I expect that he will do the same things that he did the last couple of seasons. Come in, be an impact player for them, but then get injured and then sit on the sideline.
Yeah. So, Junior, we sound a bit lukewarm about Manchester City prospects, according to the defensive vulnerabilities. Rodri coming in. You got the big bad Algerian, Mr. Riyad Mahrez. I mean, do we expect Man City to maintain the high level as they did last year? Liverpool was close to them, but I do.
I mean, the quality would always shine, and the same questions we had for Man City this year is the same question we had for them last year.
Yeah.
John Stones was unproven. Mendy was always injury prone. Kompany was injury prone. So let's just write off that Kompany is missing this year due to an ACL tear or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's the same Manchester City. So I don't expect there's going to be a drop off, yes, because the leadership is gone. But why apart from Liverpool, who do we really think is going to step up and challenge that Man City team?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
There's definitely a gulf between Manchester City and Liverpool and the rest of the EPL. At least it was last year. Do you agree with that? Come on.
I do.
Yeah. So, but Manchester City spent a bag of money for higher aspirations, right? All right.
It's the same thing Real Madrid do.
All right. Well, we'll get to Real Madrid in a second. We're excited about Real Madrid. All right. Football is wrapping up. Preseason football is wrapping up. So now we're getting into actual games that matter. And to predict a few games, the Manchester City versus Liverpool, the first encounter of the year, Community Shield is up on us next Sunday. Brethren, Liverpool lost today to Napoli, got kick up, but of course they didn't have the Alisson Becker of the world and Mohamed Salah and the like. I mean, what do you expect from this matchup? It's kind of a high fancy friendly, but I do envision each of these managers would like to get that season off with a trophy, right? Junior.
I think this Community Shield is going to be something different. Normally, the Community Shields, if you remember, for my team, Manchester United, in the Fergie years, when they play the Community Shield, it has never been their starting 11. It has never been their best 11.
Okay.
And they always try some experiment every time, every community. This year's Community Shield, I expect to be a blood sport.
Okay.
Because two teams coming off a historic race, one team want to send a message.
Yeah.
So I think next week is must-see football.
Must-see
and
football.
I think it's going to set the trend for the whole season. That's what I'm expecting next week.
Come on, are you expecting the same thing from this Community Shield? Man City versus Liverpool next Sunday.
No. I mean, it's like they're coming off preseason. I don't think it's going to be a lackluster 1-0 affair, Liverpool.
Really? 1-0 between Liverpool and Man City?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lackluster.
I think it's going to be a very physical game.
A very physical game. So your official prediction, Biggs?
Liverpool, because Liverpool is more compact than City right now.
No, not the Liverpool that got smoked today by Napoli.
It's a meaningless game.
There's no such thing
we're going
as
to talk
meaningless
about
game
that in a
football.
minute. We're going to talk about meaningless games in a minute.
Other big game coming down the pipe this weekend as we get ready for club football in Europe. The version of the Community Shield in Germany, Bayern Munich versus Dortmund. Bayern Munich, kick up Dortmund last year for both titles. Yeah, Dortmund love play number 2. Your thoughts on this game? Dortmund is heavily trying to get Leroy Sané and was trying to get Addison Odoi, but they had a pretty decent preseason. Come on, your thoughts on this Bayern Munich Dortmund matchup? And this is Saturday at 2:30 p.m.
I think Dortmund played better football during preseason. So I think it's going to be a Dortmund win. It's not going to be a runaway score. It's going to be good, exciting, attacking football. On Dortmund's part, Bayern Munich is still trying to gel together, trying to get attacking football going for them. Even Coleman didn't look good. So I think Dortmund will win, and it's probably going to be 4-1.
Weird. The same Dortmund that got kicked up last year by Bayern, 5-0.
It's another statement game.
It's another statement game.
This is another statement game. This is a game that Dortmund need to set the pace going up against a big bad Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich need to show that they are not the same. They are not taking a step back. They need to show that they are still dominant. So, these games, people, sit down and enjoy the football. You guys are swaying on this Roxy game. Trust me, these games are going to be blood sports.
It's a one-off. I envision that Dortmund, after what transpired last year in the Bundesliga, they led for a large part of the Bundesliga season and end up choking at the end. Lucien Favre and Dortmund, they probably need a win. Jadon Sancho didn't look that great in preseason, I must admit. Looked like the man up on a stroll. But it should be an interesting matchup. The other big game coming up this weekend, and the Dortmund-Bayern Munich game is Saturday. The DFL Super Cup is Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Fox Sports Network should have that game for you, and NBCSN should have the Community Shield game, if I'm not mistaken. In France, PSG versus Rennes. PSG won the League One title, and Rennes won this the League Cup. And so the winner of that will play each other. PSG play Rennes. PSG should win this game. But they lost to the same Rennes team last year in the cup final last year. Come on. Do you expect Neymar to play in this game?
Isn't Neymar still injured?
Apparently.
I thought he was. I think he's still recovering from his injury. So I am saying that Rennes is going to win this match.
Okay, so Neymar, I didn't know Neymar was still recovering from injuries. To my knowledge, Neymar is fit and just trying to leave for another team. Junior, your thoughts on this? I mean, Rennes, they have Neon Senegalese forward. Kylian Mbappe, last year was an emotional matchup between them and Rennes. Kylian Mbappe got a red card at the end after stepping into a man's foot.
It doesn't
Do you
matter.
expect PSG to win this game?
It's an easy win for PSG. This is a one-team league.
One team.
Yeah.
All right. So say it here, heard it here first. PSG probably will lose. Football lovers, to big news in transfer market. Arsenal opened the checkbook. Or, they signed Nicolas Pepe on an installment payment, £72 million. They need to agree with the player, but they've agreed with Lille for the transfer of the player. So pending agreement with Nicolas Pepe and his group. Do you see Nicolas Pepe, and what do you expect him to bring to Arsenal? Come on.
First of all, can I just point out that I have lived to see Arsenal become a hire purchase club. They're buying players on hire purchase, installment plan for a player. Big bad Arsenal.
It's above the budget.
What we're going to, but Nicolas Pepe will bring an edge to Arsenal that is currently missing. They lost today in a 2-1, defeat. It was. I don't know what to say about that. But I think he will come in and bring a different dynamic to a lackluster or a sagging Arsenal. So I think he'll be worth the money.
Our pathetic Arsenal, we'll say that.
That's all.
Junior, Nicolas Pepe, Mkhitaryan, you're a soft soap footballer, family of Manchester United. Look good today, but I envision Nicolas Pepe will probably let Mkhitaryan go on the bench, which he probably should.
And I love the fact that you brought up Mkhitaryan.
Yeah.
After the Mkhitaryan experiment, I am going to wait on a player to at least survive the first month in the Premier League before we start talking about these players. Let us see how he handles the grind in the Premier League.
Yes, this is true. Nicolas Pepe scored 20-something goals last year for Lille. 9 of those were PKs. At least he can take PKs. Arsenal also signed Dani Ceballos on loan from Real Madrid. Any thoughts on that? Arsenal seems to be trying to shore up their team there, even though they're on a restrictive budget.
It looked like they're trying to put steel down the middle of their team, which shows that Emery at least did some self-assessment and looked at his team and said, where are we weakest? Plus, they lost Ramsey. Love him or hate him, Ramsey really was one of the engines that made that team go last year. So you have to find some steel down the middle of the field somewhere. You have to have steel, not down the middle, but you have to have steel on the team. Is he? I don't know. Again, we don't know what they are when they go up against a Crystal Palace, and then go up against a Liverpool next week, and then go up against a Manchester United the week after. Let us see. I would have reserved judgment on this.
Football lovers, this is where the EPL fanboys and fangirls always run out about their league, alright? So they want to wait until see how people survive their league.
Actually, come on, am I lying?
Ballers adapt anywhere, so real ballers step forward.
Okay.
Come on. Your thoughts on this Dani signing by Arsenal? And then regarding the Pepe move, does this pretty much end the so-called interest in Wilfred Zaha by Arsenal?
Arsenal cannot afford Zaha. What are you talking about? We're talking about interest. Crystal Palace tell Everton that £52 million is not enough. Remember, Arsenal only have 40-something million. I'm already spending and trust a player. So they can't afford Zaha. So it's not even a question.
They can do it in installments.
But there's no money left to even pay down to make even a deposit on him. So Arsenal need to just work with the team with them house and just keep it moving.
Other transfer news.
The big news.
Not even transfer. Gareth Bale apparently was on his way to China. Then no, he's not on his way to China. Give us an overview, come on, because we know that Gareth Bale is one of your favorite players.
Very funny. But listen, I didn't believe it the first time I heard it, and that's just how it is. An agent usually just boosts up in player, just put something out there in the air, and just hope that it catches fire, just to either push a team to do something or elevate them player. Who in their right mind would pay Gareth Bale £100 million per week? Not 100 million, I'm sorry, £1 million pound per week. He's already getting £600,000 per week. So he's always, listen, he's always injured, right?
Yeah.
He has played less football than most of the starting players on Real Madrid in any football season. So who would take this man and give him a £400,000 raise? Yes, we know China printing their money, but that just don't make any sense.
China is printing money. Junior, Gareth Bale, on again, off again, leaving Real Madrid. Of Gareth Bale or Zinedine Zidane, who will last longer at Real Madrid?
I like how you frame that question. But I have to take a step back real quick. Before, I was on the side of Zidane. Now, after all of this, what I'm seeing going on, I have to take a step back and say, yo, I don't know who is at fault here. Before, I thought Bale was the instigator and the aggressor. Now I'm starting to think that Real Madrid is really being petty. Let the man go. Let him go. It seems to me like the media caught wind of him smiling and laughing when Atletico Madrid was kicking them all over the field.
We'll get to that in a little
Yeah, but that ties into it.
Yeah.
So it's somehow I get the vibe like Zidane and the Madrid brass are saying we are not going to be looked at as clowns or like clowns or fools publicly. So we're going to send a message. That's how it feels like to me. It really does feel petty to me. Let the man go.
But that don't make any sense either. I mean, I still stand with the thing that says the deal falls through because the deal never did in the first place.
Okay.
You are not going to cut, or you're going to cut off your nose to spite your face. You're paying this man £600,000 a week. Real Madrid might be petty, but they're not stupid. You are going to clean the books. You're going to get the salary off the books. And remember, if China is going to pay that money, there has to be a transfer fee involved. So you want to tell me, say, that Real Madrid wants a £600,000 catch up on the bench week in, week out?
No, but come on. Fellaini made 12.5 million per year after taxes in China. That's what he signed for. That's number one. Now, the player contract that's negotiated has nothing to do with the sale price. I can buy a player for $10 and turn around and pay him $500,000 a week. That is my prerogative. So that has nothing to do with Real Madrid. It's always we make an agreement with the club and we make an agreement with the player. It's two separate agreements. That's why I think it's petty. I agree, it doesn't make any sense. I always say I try not to find a rational explanation for an irrational situation. And this is what it's very irrational. I don't want the player. You would think that the first person coming to buy the player, take him. Even if Barcelona come and say, yo, we want Bale, sure, take him. But they're not selling him.
But you have to recoup some money. But you have to recoup some money. So it's like you're selling a car, right? And you have a minimum price in mind.
Right.
So if you know, say the car is $5,000 and in your mind you're not taking less than $4,800, but when I come, you say, all right, then 5,200 and you get the car, you leave room to negotiate. But I am not meeting your minimum asking price.
True.
So I just think that the people have an asking price and they have to recoup money.
So
have to recoup some money.
So who?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because it's not a win-win. It's a lose-lose.
Right.
They lose, and Real Madrid lose.
So then my question now then, and we don't have to answer it right now, but I am now curious to know who released this information that Bale agreed to a $1 million per week contract. Is this his agent knowing that Real Madrid is not going to agree with the Chinese club, but trying to put pressure on Real Madrid by releasing this information?
I would say the agent.
So
I know agents who do that.
Right.
We know people who do them something there.
Yes,
we know adopted fathers who do them something there. Remember we had so many things.
Don't call any names.
We see so many articles. We have so many articles about players.
True.
Where we know in the back of our minds that is dictating that this is not true, but they put it out there for it to gain traction, and that's just it. I just don't see where they're going to promote this janitor and give him $400,000 in addition to what he's getting, and he's underperforming.
I agree.
The floors are always dirty, the furniture always dusty, but yet we're going to promote him to supervisor of all janitors and give him an increase. Makes no sense.
Well, remember they bought a pool cleaner from Manchester United and paying him a king's ransom.
Is Sanchez you're talking?
Fellaini.
In China. To kind of give some context, and first of all, football lovers and soccer fans, we're not going to call people by around here on ball chat. But multiple outlets, including the BBC, has reported or is reporting that there was a transfer that was legitimately on the table agreed between the Chinese club and Gareth Bale's representative. Madrid board and Florentino Perez pulled the rug on the deal because there was a free transfer. They weren't getting anything out of the deal and they wanted something back for Bale. And secondly, with all the injuries that they're incurring, with Marco Asensio being out for 9 months and subsequently Jovic being injured in the recent games, they felt that it's critically important they try to keep Bale in-house or actually get something on the books for him, get him for something rather than having to go for free to anywhere else for £1 million or whatever. So watch the space. So to kind of piggyback on the preseason for a little bit, because we're pushing up against it, come on, but Zidane and Real Madrid lost to Atletico Madrid 7-3 in an embarrassing performance here in the state. Yo, will Zidane survive this tenure at Real Madrid with this pathetic display? Come on.
He will. I mean, he will. He left, and I think I remember Jonah saying that he came back as a folk hero.
Yes.
So he left, and they practically went out there and begged him to come.
Yes.
So even though they went out there and they spent 300 million euros out there on players, I don't see Zidane getting the sack this year if he fails to even reach the semi-finals of Champions League, or if he does not even win the La Liga, the title.
Okay.
So I don't see Zidane leaving or getting fired this year. Maybe next year. Maybe they're saying that it's a project, and next year, if he does not, pony upon the investment, then he'll go. But this year, in safe.
Junior, your thoughts on this? Do you think Zinedine Zidane have anything to worry about? This is a CM Madrid who fire coaches left, right, and center. So, I mean, your thoughts on this?
If a coach is going to be fired in the preseason, I wouldn't want to be a coach. I'm full transparency. Both you guys are Barcelona fans. You guys hate Real Madrid.
I don't hate Real Madrid.
But it is what it is.
I won Barcelona from the other day.
I am going to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Let us wait. Let us give them a month in the season. These preseason games are meaningless football.
Tell it to the board of Real Madrid and the fans that booed them the other day. They got humiliated 7-3.
You cannot spell fanatic without fun.
At Atletico Madrid team that didn't get out of second gear. But Zidane,
that's what you think.
We will be here to see you. Good. To talk about Barcelona real quickly and this Antoine Griezmann transfer. Come on, since you're the Barcelona faithful in the room. Atletico Madrid is rumored to file documents with the La Liga saying that Barcelona violated the terms of the agreement and they should have paid more money for Antoine Griezmann. The La Liga Association said that they're looking into this and they could potentially block this deal. Do you see anything coming out of this, or is it just foolishness?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe something can happen. And to be honest, I want something to happen. Take him back. Send him right back. I just think Griezmann is just not a good fit for my club. So they can always take him back. You want me to do it? I can make a sign. I can walk, around the place and say, take Griezmann back. But no, I see Barcelona getting away with this like they always get away with things.
Simple.
Junior, your thoughts on this?
I don't really care one way or another. I think Griezmann is 5 years too late, and I think Atletico Madrid, they feel very butthurt about this, and they just tried everything in under power. But it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Give it up. You're the ex. Give it up. You're the angry ex. Take your 50% and go about your business.
All right. Football lovers, strong words here. Get ready for football season, football lovers. The season officially kicked off next week with cup matchups, Community Shield, Super Cup in Germany, and the Tres des Champions trophy in France. Neymar and his PSG team will be rolling out. Let's see how that goes.
And we will be there.
And we will be there. Football lovers, follow us on social media. Ball Chat 1 on Twitter, Ball Chat Podcast on Instagram, Ball Chat Podcast on Facebook. Another Facebook Live again.
And we're going to get the YouTube thing working by next week, I promise.
And Ball Chat Podcast on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Ball Chat again, Junior.
Mikhail, big up. Yeah, man, we're there.
Big up to the YouTube, Facebook family, and we kind of get ready for football season. Come on, we need an engineer.
Badly.
All right.